Hi everyone, Dr. Melissa here, and today we're going over snapping hip syndrome treatment for that clicking and snapping that you're having in your hip. If you're new around here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss out on new stuff. And two things that you're gonna wanna grab before we get started. If you have a yoga block or a tennis and lacrosse ball, no worries if you don't, still got you covered. All right, go grab those mats and let's do this. Let's get rid of that snapping, clicking feeling that you're having in your hip, and I'll explain as we go along the way. But basically we're gonna work on getting mobility in our hips, and then we're gonna work on getting stability around the hip joint, and then working on our core system, because these can be the two reasons as to why you're feeling that snapping and clicking. Let's get started. We're gonna come to a seated position, and I want you to take that right foot, bring your right foot straight out in front of you. Then that left knee is gonna be back behind you. So the sole of your right foot is in line with that left thigh. Try to get those sit bones nice and even. We're pressing our knees down in towards the ground. We're gonna turn to face over that right knee, hinge at your hips. Try to keep that back nice and flat till you feel a stretch in the outside of the hip. Keep pushing that left knee down into the ground. And then you're gonna lift, pull yourself, come up and back. A little lean backwards. You might feel more of the stretch in that left hip. We're gonna lean, rotate forward over that right thigh till you feel a little stretch. And then pressing into the knees, take the hands behind, open through the chest. Good, one more time like that, and then we're gonna add on. Hinge forward, press those knees down, and then you're gonna lean backwards, take those hands. This time, when we lean forward over that right knee, we're gonna shift the weight forward, take that left foot, step your left foot in front. Right knee stays on the ground, tuck your right hip underneath. Rib cage stays stacked, drive that left knee in front so you feel a little stretch in the front of that right thigh. Now we're going right back to where we came from. So take the left leg, sweep that left leg back behind, lower those hips down, hinge forward over the thigh. And then you're gonna lean backwards, open up through that chest. You're gonna hinge forward again, and then you're gonna keep pressing into the knee, take that left foot, sweep the left foot in front, tuck that hip underneath, drop the rib cage, drive your left knee forward over that thigh. Nice, gentle breath in. Exhale, we're gonna take that leg, step the leg back, drop those hips, come all the way down. Hinge forward over the front thigh. Press, lift up, take those hands back behind. One more time through. As you come forward, lift, come all the way up. Take the left foot, sweep that left foot in front. Tuck the hips underneath. Maybe the left knee sneaks a little bit further in front. And you're noticing how this side is moving because we're about to head over towards the other side. Take that left leg, step your left leg back, slowly drop all the way down. And then we'll switch over towards the other side. So that left shin comes in front. The left foot is in line with that right thigh. Try to get your sit bones nice and even, lengthening up. You might notice a difference between the two sides. Keep pressing those knees down in towards the ground. We're gonna hinge forward over that left thigh. Nice, gentle breath in. And then take those hands, bring your hands back behind you, open through the chest. And then hinge right forward over again. As you're hinging, remember that right knee, we're pushing it down and towards the ground. Notice where you're feeling the stretch in your hip. And then we're gonna bring it back behind us, press down into those knees. This time, as we hinge forward, we're gonna take that right leg, sweep your right leg in front, tuck that left hip underneath. Rib cage is dropped, drive the right knee forward, feeling that stretch in the front of your left hip. Notice how it feels left side, right side with that stretch. We'll take the right leg. We're going right back to where we came from, so slowly use that control. Step it back down. Hinge forward over that left leg. Pull yourself, come back up. Those hands come behind, press those knees down in towards the ground. And then we hinge forward again. As you press into those knees, lift, come all the way up. Right foot comes in front, tuck the tailbone, drop that rib cage, lean forward, nice stretch. Using the breath, we're connecting with the breath. Maybe the exhales, you can start to see lower abdominal activation. One more time through. Step that leg back. Keep pressing into those knees. We fold forward. And you can play around with your breath, blowing out through a straw, or like you're blowing candles out. Maybe it might change how you're feeling that lower abdominal. Sweep that right foot in front. Tuck the left hip, drive that knee forward, drop that rib cage down, press into the top of your left foot, feel a nice stretch. And then we're gonna step it back. Awesome job. Now we're gonna come up onto our hands and knees, coming into that tabletop position. So you're pressing into your palms, lengthening through the crown of your head. We've got that neutral pelvis. We're gonna start on our left side. Take your left knee, and this, if you feel that little popping, that clicking, I want you to play around with your exhale, exhaling a little bit more. Breath is so powerful when it comes to our core stability. Exhale, bring that knee in towards your chest, left knee comes in. Slowly bring it out to that outside. Peel that hip open, draw a really, really big circle. That knee starts to face back down towards the ground, and bring that knee back in. One more time, drive your knee in towards your chest. Bring it out towards the side. Rotate the knee towards the sky, and then slowly bring the knee back down towards the ground. Now we're gonna do 2 times opposite direction. So we start kicking backwards, drive the leg back, heel goes towards the ceiling, peel that hip open, bring your knee in towards your chest, slowly bring that leg back down. And again, drive that leg back, slow, controlled. And you're noticing how far that hip is moving, where you might feel it get a little sticky. Good, and then place it back down. And we're gonna switch to the other side. That neutral pelvis, exhaling, lower abdominals, play around with emphasizing the exhale a little more. We're gonna bring right knee in towards your chest. Slow, controlled, bring that leg out towards the side, rotate the hip up, and then bring that knee back in. One more time, bring that leg out to the outside. How does this side feel compared to your other? Is it easier to control? Do you have more range of motion? Now we're going the opposite direction. Kick that leg straight back, drive the heel up, rotate that hip open, bring that knee in towards your chest. Good, one more time, kick the leg back, drive that knee up, rotate, peel your hip open, and then bring that leg back down. That was just working on our mobility in our hips, noticing difference left side, right side. Now we're gonna grab hold of that tennis or lacrosse ball that you have. We're gonna work on a muscle, it's called your TFL. It sits, you find that bone right in front of your pelvis. Bring the ball just to the outside of that leg. We're gonna roll that TFL muscle, starting with our left side. So come down onto that side. So what can happen, I'm gonna distract you. Sometimes it can be a little tender. You'll know when you find that spot. You might have to roll forward or roll backwards a little bit more. But what happens, our IT bands can get really, really tight because the muscle, TFL, on the top here, the outside part of your quad, and then your glutes, they all attach onto that IT band. If you don't have this stability in your glutes, or that core system isn't quite working, why we've been talking about the exhale, these muscles are gonna tighten up on you. And that can pull on the IT band, and why you're getting that snapping on the hip. So it's loosening up some of those muscles, working on the mobility in the hip joint, and then you gotta stabilize because you gotta fix that problem. And with the rolling, 30 to 60 seconds each spot. If this feels pretty good and you want to add on a little bit, maybe you lift up that bottom leg. But you're breathing into it, just easing in. Good. We'll take one more breath here, and then we're going to roll on to the other side. The other muscles that I mentioned, that outside of your quad or your glutes, I'll put a link up there to another video that can show you some rolling techniques for those, and you can see which one makes the biggest impact. All right, same thing. So we find the bone, front of our pelvis. Take the ball, an inch or two to the side. That's your TFL. You're gonna roll down on that side. Whew. And one side might be a little tighter than the other. Might be a piece of cake laying here. You wanna start lifting that leg up and down. You're easing into it, you're breathing. You definitely wanna stay within that 30 to 60 seconds because you can overhydrate those tissues and just make them stiffer. Nice, gentle breath in. Exhale, let it go. Good, maybe you wiggle up or down, just finding that spot. Good. And then we're gently gonna come off that ball. That probably feels really good. Move that off to the side. And then we're gonna come back down onto our right side, working on getting that core system working like we want it to, so that our hips aren't looking for stability like that. We wanna make sure we're pressing down into our right forearm. We're gonna work on lifting and lengthening up through that right side body. Rib cage stays slightly dropped down. You're gonna take your left leg, extend your left leg straight back. Left arm is gonna come up overhead, pressing those hips, lifting up. Nice gentle breath into the rib cage. And then we're gonna exhale, bring elbow back behind you like a row and bring your left knee towards your chest. Inhale, exhale, inhale, and then you're exhaling. Kick that left heel back behind you. Drive your left arm up overhead. Nice, gentle breaths in. You wanna feel that lower abdominal area kicking on. That's with that exhale. When you exhale, your diaphragm's coming back up and it's pulling on your lower abdominal pelvic floor muscles, working that core system. Good. We've got 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. Drive that leg back behind. We're gonna flip up and over to that left-hand side. Same thing on the left-hand side. Pressing into that left forearm. Nice, gentle breath in. You're gonna keep reaching through that right heel. Exhaling, we wanna feel lower abdominals. Play around with rolling that hip forward and backwards. Right arm reaches up overhead. You're pressing, lift those hips up. Nice, gentle breath. Exhale, and then you're gonna inhale, reach overhead. Exhale, and inhale. If you're noticing that that hip might snap with this exercise, play around with the exhale. Maybe don't bring that knee quite as far in towards your chest. You're pressing into your left arm. Use that breath. Good. Elbow to knee, reach overhead. Good. If you want to learn more about building that strong core, I'll put some links up there that goes more in depth with this. Good, we've got 3, 2, last one. Nice breath in. And then you're gonna come all the way up. 2 options here. We're gonna work on stabilizing those glutes. So you can come down onto your hands. You can also come down onto your forearms. We wanna keep that head lifting up and back. And then we're gonna take our left leg, keep your left knee bent, hips stay facing the ground, press into those palms or your forearms, and you're gonna drive your heel lifted up, and then bring it back down. Bring it up, and then bring it back down. Very slow and controlled. You wanna feel it in that sit bone area. Keep the hips nice and even, press into the top of that right foot. Drive your left heel up towards the ceiling. And you're gonna notice how one side feels compared to the next. So if those glutes aren't firing, that's where we're looking for the extra stability around that hip, your IT band area. And then the other one is that hip flexor muscle that we stretched in the beginning. that hip flexor, your iliopsoas, can become tight and snapping over something, especially if you're doing like those abdominal exercises where you lower your legs and it comes back to the core system and using your breath. Good, we've got 3, 2, last 1, and then we're gonna switch to the other side. That right leg goes back, drive your heel lift up, and then back down. Just comparing those two sides. One side might feel like it's a little easier than the other. Definitely know I have a lot more control on this side. You want to be careful you're not feeling it into your back and arching the back. Just drive that heel up and back down. Keep pressing into those palms, keep those heads lifted. Exhale, lower abdominals. Good, 5, 4, 3, 2, last 1. Good, come all the way back down. All right, we've got one more that's gonna combine everything. So if you've got that yoga block, go ahead and grab that. And if you don't, no worries, you're gonna do the same movements that we're working on. So when we're in standing, we wanna get that alignment. So we're dropping that rib cage slightly in from that ankle, and you're gonna press into your left foot. Squeeze your left glute. We're holding on to this block. We're gonna have a slight little bend in your left knee as we kick, hinge forward. Bring the block, drop the block to the inside of that left foot. Reach your right leg back behind you, and then pull yourself, come back up. So the right leg is gonna go off on a diagonal. We're gonna rotate to the right-hand side, hinging at your hips. Spread your toes, reach that right leg off to the side, and then inhale, come back up. We're working on our core system. We're working on our hip stability, our glutes. Hinge at the hips. Maybe you only go halfway down. Maybe you're holding on to something as you're moving in and out of this movement. 3 more times. Slow, controlled, kick it back, hinge at those hips. As this gets easier, maybe you trade the block out for a dumbbell or a weight. Rotate. Awesome, last 1. Maybe you feel that left booty. Good, use the breath. Exhale, reach through that right leg, and then come all the way back up. Just shake it out on that left side. Now we're gonna do the same thing on the right side. We've got the lean, drop the rib cage, spread your toes. We're gonna rotate to the left. The left leg heads over towards the right-hand side. Inhale, slow, controlled, bring it back up. Exhale, hinge it over. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, hinge. Compare, how does your balance feel on this side? Can you activate your glutes? How does the core feel? Maybe you need to emphasize that breath a little bit more. Good. 3. Spread your toes. 2. Last 1. Awesome. Place that left foot back down. Ooh, maybe you shake it out. Let's just take one last nice breath in, lift all the way up. Spread those toes, bring those hands down towards heart center. Remembering it's about your mobility and your stability, having those two work together and making sure we have a nice strong core. Awesome job. All right, awesome work working on that mobility and stability, both in your hip and your core system. If you're wanting to learn more about how to build a strong core, check out the link down below. And I would love to know in the comments down below what you'd like to see in another video, because I make these videos for you. All right, until next time, namaste.